We've arrived at City Airport. This is the first of 3 flights that we're going to be taking today. So it's going to be a long travel day. We thought we'd take the opportunity to answer some of the questions we get asked often. But as you've just seen, it is still before dawn. We're not quite awake, so we're going to have some breakfast first. First flight, City Airport to Frankfurt. And because we're doing 3 flights today, I thought we'd start with 3 questions that we've been asked. First question: what made us start a YouTube channel?
I don't know. Tell me, because I don't know.
I had, for years before, always kept a travel journal when we went away. Then when we started doing bigger trips, like we went to the Great Wall of China, we went to Everest Base Camp, sort of, I blogged it. I had been blogging, and then we decided we were going to go around the world.
For 12 months, but we lasted about 7.
Yeah, it was post-COVID and it cost more money. So the natural progression was for me to actually start a video diary. And so, because all of our friends and family also wanted to see what we were getting up to while we were away for months and months, the obvious thing to do was to put it on YouTube for them. Yeah, easiest way to share it. So that's what we did. So the next question is, why thrifty or budget travel?
Because I don't like spending money. I've never had much money,
No.
so now that we've got an opportunity to actually travel, it has to be done on a budget, because we've never had any money.
Apparently, our tips are helping other people travel cheaply, which is quite crazy. What was the moment that made you go, yes, travel?
When you told me. Well,
We've been travelling together for 36 years.
yeah, but not very far.
No.
I mean, growing up, I spent a lot of time in England, English coastal towns, south coast, east coast, caravans, camping.
Yeah.
So this to get a chance to actually travel a bit further around the world, it's been a revelation. We need to travel, and we've only started in the last. We've only been travelling.
2017, I think we went to China.
Yeah, but even then, it's like, okay, you've been to Clacton-on-Sea, you've been to Bournemouth, you've been camping around the English coast, and then suddenly, let's do something different. Let's go somewhere completely different. China? And do people go to China? And that's what started it. And then it was like, well, you can go in a budget. You need to save your money, but it can be done. And then from that, we've tried to see as much of the world as we can, while we still can. But it has to be on a budget.
I've always loved travelling. I've always loved the thrill of catching a plane. You hate getting on planes.
I don't hate getting on planes. I hate the practice of travelling.
Yeah.
Some people say it's all about the journey. I like being other places, but I don't like the travel.
Yeah. And
So
for me, that's part of the journey. I love it. But there's 2 moments for me that made me go, yeah, travel. 2.
3 of one each.
Maybe I'm stealing yours.
Well,
Standing on the Great Wall of China, looking out across the Chinese countryside, and realising I wasn't looking at a screensaver or a picture in a book. That was the first really different location, I think. And then for me, the second one was flying into the Maldives and seeing all of the atolls just appearing up out
the
of
Maldives
the
is a
sea.
different world.
It's a different world.
Just shows you what you can go and see, but you can do it on a budget. You can, if you book wisely and you
Compromise a little bit.
Saving, sorry.
Compromise a little bit.
Yeah. Save you air miles.
So we're coming into Frankfurt now. We've got a really quick connection, haven't we?
I think we've got about 20 minutes. I don't know how it's all going to work. So there's a challenge there. Are we going to make the connecting flights? And also, is our luggage going to make the connecting flights? Because it all seems to be rush. I don't know how it's going to work.
We found our gate and we're in time, so that's all good. We are going from Frankfurt now to Bogota in Colombia, and then on to our final destination. We're going to start boarding in a minute. According to my phone, it's about 5 o'clock in the evening. I'm not exactly sure where in the world it's 5 o'clock in the evening. We've just been served lunch, which was actually pretty good. Stewed beef, quite nice in there. You can probably tell that the lights have come down for bedtime as well. So I'm really confused. I don't know what time it is at all. I have no idea where we are. Somewhere over the Atlantic, I presume. So with everybody falling asleep around us, I thought probably a good idea to answer a couple of other questions. What goes into planning our trips? What goes into planning our trips? We usually start with flights and looking where we can find cheap flights to, and which destinations appeal to us. We look for places we haven't been before, and then when we find a cheap destination, we start looking at what's there for us to do and whether accommodation is also affordable, and that will dictate how long we stay there as a rule. Obviously we need to build it into our annual leave too. Another thing we've been asked is, how do we decide whether a trip or an excursion is worth paying for? First of all, we consider what the value is. Is it something that we actually want to do? Is it something that we've been told we should do? And then we look at the cost, how much it actually is and can we afford it? But finally, what we also consider is it something that we could do closer to home, or is it something that can only be done wherever we are? So for example, we were in China, we were in Beijing, we were at Bird's Nest Stadium, and we had the opportunity to climb on the roof and go on a tour of the roof. Now that's something you can only do while you're in Beijing, so we decided it was worthwhile paying to go and do that. So off we went, but there's been other things that we could have done closer to home. It wasn't worth us paying to do them while we were on a trip, so we didn't bother. Right, lights are out, I'm shattered, I think it's time for a nap. Excuse me talking to you in the toilet. We just realised we thought it was dark out. In fact, 7 out of every 8 windows has been obscured so that it looks like it's nighttime. We think it's to keep us all quiet on the plane, but it certainly won't, because everybody's just gone to sleep. We have arrived in Colombia. That's the end of flight 2, which was over 10 hours long. We're pretty much exhausted now. I think it's close to 1 a.m. UK time. We don't actually know what time it is here, but we do know we've got another tight connection and we need to go and find another flight. I'm losing the will to live. But what we'll do is we'll answer a couple more questions. I've lost Alan. Here he comes. We'll answer a couple more questions and then it's bedtime for us, I think. Last couple of questions before we stop for today, because we've been on the go for 21 hours now.
And it's now, I don't know what time it is because we're,
Yeah,
we're in South America.
Yeah, it's about 21 hours since we started. Okay, so what is a misconception about budget travel that you would like to clear up? Have you got one?
People don't normally talk to me about budget travel, to be honest.
No.
But I'm guessing it's staying in hostels.
Yeah.
Is that one? And
Yeah.
I never stayed in a hostel in my life.
No, people think it's all hostels, and
although we did visit a hostel
it was lovely.
in Hanoi, and it seemed to be really good.
And hostels have private rooms. You're not sleeping in dormitories in all of them.
Although we have stayed in a capsule hotel.
Yes.
That was
in Singapore. I'll put the link up here. Yeah, the hostel thing is a biggie.
Yeah.
I think people all think it's going to be sleeping in dorms, doing everything dirt cheap, not eating, and it's not. It's all about compromise. You know, you'll stay in a hotel that's maybe a little bit out of town just because it saves you, you know, on the cost per night, and then take local transport into town or walk. You're eating local restaurants because they're cheaper and usually the food's better, rather than going to fancy restaurants.
I mean, you don't have to go to fancy restaurants and stay away from anywhere that offers English food, because obviously they are very good at cooking their local food and not very good at cooking Western food.
Yeah.
So the food is really good.
Final question for the day, because we are at our wits' end. How do you make a travel day bearable? Now, this is a really good time to ask that question because we're 21 hours in and we've still got about another 6 hours to
You
go.
could either not go,
Yeah.
which did cross my mind halfway through the 11-hour flight.
Yeah.
I think you just have to mentally tell yourself, well, you're in it for the long haul, literally.
Yeah.
And it's a travel day, and you just have to go with the flow.
Yeah, that day is a travel day. You do nothing else. And
No, you just sit and you chill, and you find your own way of getting through it, whether it be headphones or some music or a book or your favourite pillow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you think you need, take it with you on the plane, because we've seen horses.
Yeah.
So
I watch movie after movie and get waited on and have food and drink brought to me. You listen to music and watch documentaries.
I do struggle with watching films on the plane. It's very noisy, and you just have to go to a happy place.
Yes.
In your head.
Yes.
And let it all wash over you.
Yeah. Well, we've still got a few hours to go yet, and then a taxi to the hotel.
The other end. Yeah.
So we've just been on 2 Lufthansa flights, both very good, great service. Really enjoyed those. We've now switched to Avianca. We are off to, where are we going?
La Paz.
La Paz in
And
Bolivia.
So far, we've managed to get all the connecting flights, but we'll have to wait and see whether our luggage is still there.
Yeah, and whether we actually make it to La Paz. But we're going to leave it here for today. And hopefully...
Well, fingers crossed, we will end up in La Paz.
Yeah, and we'll pick it up when we get to Bolivia.